Hey, good evening. It's 7:05 p.m. Oh, sorry, 7:06 p.m. It is August 13th, Friday the 13th. And so I'm winding down for the evening. It's very hot outside, as everyone knows. If you live here in Bakersfield, then you already know it's hot, so I don't need to tell you. But for some of my viewers who live in different states and it's not as hot over there, you won't be you'd be amazed at how hot it is. It was about 103 today, so and it does get hotter out here. Anyway, so just a little quick follow up is what I've been doing. Pretty much the same thing what I did the last time I made a video. I go to work, I come home. My thoughts are pretty much still focused on what happened, and I know some people say, "Well, just get over it." Trauma is different, especially when you don't really have anything to fill the void of that. Now, for while I'm at work, I'm glad because I'm busy. I'm keeping myself busy. I've got plenty of things to do. I'm learning different things or training or whatever it is I'm doing. I've got stuff to keep my mind off of things. Okay, but it's those moments when you come home, because like I said, when you're gang stalked, um, it destroys your past. It kind of makes your present moment kind of disturbing because there's nothing really good to think about because you see the true nature of the people who got involved in this. So it makes you see people differently. You know what I mean? And I do want to clarify something that a lot of my perps, or my old perps, I'm not going to get names specific or anything like that, but a lot of them in their mind thinks, well, she's feeling bad about herself, she probably thinks that we don't like her and all this other weird stuff, but they're trying to act like that I'm pushing them away because um, I deep down inside have feelings for these people, like I want to be friends with these people, but I'm just like hurt by what they did. This is what they might be thinking. No, it's not like that. I don't like these people. I mean, it's a very serious issue. Very serious. And what I think and I believe they did based on the law, based off the hostile behavior that I received, based off the deception that went along with it, and everything else, okay? From the betrayals and all this other stuff. You're bringing people in that I didn't know about and all this other thing, these things. And I'm referring to my blood relations, and I'm referring to my ex-husband and his weird family. Okay, these two groups of people. This is how I feel about it. You know what I mean? I don't, because when you really think about, do I know you? I don't know you at all, because it's like you show this one face, and then you act in a murderous way when I'm not around, and you conspire and you did all this other stuff. And especially once I made over 1,000 videos, and like I said, I was basically screaming for my life, and it was like my whole life was being trivialized. Nobody cared about what I needed, but they certainly wanted to manipulate me and force me into something that they knew, and it was done on purpose. Okay, so when you make decisions to walk away or cut people out of your life, it's a serious decision. It's not frivolous. Some people have fights with people, small, minor fights with an old friend or someone that they used to know, a family member, all right. And sometimes it's like, I would agree. Sometimes it is frivolous. Like, for example, maybe two brothers live next door, and for the last 3 weeks, the brother just goes inside the garage and he starts using his brother's lawnmower. Okay. And that's kind of, it's not right because you're invading his private. It's still his house. You don't walk in, unannounced or whatever, and doing those sort of things. But still kind of minor, okay? But when somebody literally, you know, conspires against you, throws you out of your job, not just like, uses certain things that belong to you, but literally takes everything out from underneath you, and abused me for many, 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 many years, took everything I had, ruined my reputation, tried to force me to live. That's the most horrific thing I could even imagine. Converting to a religion that's not mine, changing my style that's not mine, and just basically hollowing me out. Basically, what you were saying is, die off, Maria. Die. Take your humor. Make that stop. Stop wearing your clothes. Stop thinking the way that you do. Stop, being the spiritual person you are. Stop doing this, everything about you. Change it all, and then we'll accept you. You basically wanted me dead, and your actions showed it. Okay, and I personally think that you were probably jealous of me, because this is one of the reasons why this girl was brought into it. The girl who I used to work with, who ended up sleeping with my husband, maybe possibly even marrying him or whatever. Um, it was your way of trying to start a competition. Maybe you were living vicariously through her, or something weird like that. Um, no, I don't forgive this. I don't, and don't think that my depression is a sign of me wanting to, that I'm mourning the loss of you. I'm mourning the fact that I lost the opportunity to literally bash your skulls in. I'm angry that I cannot watch you be taken off the fucking planet. That's the goddamn truth. That's why. I'm like, this really screwed my brain up. All right? Because somebody who would treat you in such a manner. Okay? Complete dehumanization. So, no. So, I want to get that straight for the record. It's not something small. It's not something minor. And this is how I feel. Okay? So, anyway, I do think about, I consider myself somewhat of an engineer, like an occupational engineer. This is what I like to do. I like to think about certain things, how I want things to work and how things should work, or I believe, or whatever. Not so much how I believe, but based on that coincide with the law. Okay, not everything I think about relates to law, okay, or human rights. Sometimes it could be something as easy as, or simple as, like how to organize a certain paperwork or something. But when it comes to improvements in the workplace, I do think that people should really look at this situation, because it's a very serious one. And when I think about all the people who drop the ball, and I know people think that this is all I talk about, but once you're gang stalked and everything gets taken out of your life, for whatever reason, whether they stripped you and left you in a state of destitution, or, some people are actually dumb enough to change their lives because their lives are being threatened. What they don't understand is, either way, you're fucking dead. Okay? If you convert to something that you don't want to do, you are basically no different than a goddamn slave. And that's exactly what human trafficking is. Okay? Somebody basically making you submit to their whims, depriving you of your human rights. Okay, and then giving you shit that you don't really want, and then basically making you live in a state of poverty or destitution, or deprivation or whatever, just so you can keep on working the shitty job or whatever under those fucked up conditions. You know what I mean? And that to me is deranged. Okay, and the very fact that this girl that I used to work with, and I sometimes have to think about her name. I don't know this girl that well. I really don't. I worked with her. I thought she was cute. I don't want to go into this too much, right? But, the more I start thinking about it, the whole retrocognition thing is like stirring up in my brain, because I'm like, I would have never, and I'm a psychic person, but I don't think about, what do you call it? I don't sit here and hone in on people that I feel like I'm supposed to be suspicious of. Like, if I read everybody's mind or tapped into their mind or whatever, then I would go crazy, because I would have to worry about this person trying to attack me, or this whatever attacking me or whatever, because there's a lot of people who probably don't like me just because I'm an intelligent black woman, just because, I don't want to be a part of their fucked up cult or whatever. I don't want to know every single last person's thought, but my point is that I did not know that there was so much crazy shit going on, and it took me a long time to figure it out. Anyway, my point is that no, I am appalled by everything that happened, and I am disturbed by that somebody basically wanted to take me out. Blacklisting to me is serious business. It's serious. Okay, and then human trafficking is serious. Okay, whether they knew it was illegal or not, you still knew it was wrong. You know what I mean? And if you didn't know it was wrong, then you're retarded. And why would I want to be around somebody who is that low? You know what I mean? That just can't think. But I do think it was a hate crime, seeing as how my ex-husband was running around with that girl and possibly has a child with her. So, and yeah, I inferred all of this, and I know this girl has been stalking me for a very long time. She misrepresented herself, saying that she was maybe in management or maybe something through the company that I used to work with. I don't care. She was, as far as I knew, I was her boss at that time, and she reported to me, and I trained her. And but I believe is what she's doing is she's going around or went around telling people that she was in charge of me or whatever, and she used her being biracial as a way of gaining favoritism, because racism exists. Okay, getting favoritism from people, so they didn't question it. Okay, but she made this bullshit up. Okay, she's a goddamn murderer, and she should be in goddamn jail, as well as my ex-husband. As far as I'm concerned, I don't really give a fuck about my blood relations either. I don't really give a fuck. Okay, because when something like this happens, there is no fucking love. Somebody fucking basically backed you into a wall and fucking was like holding a gun or gun to your head or a knife to your throat or something. That's exactly how it feels to me. That's not a joke. Okay, especially when I was out of work, I lost my job. They were basically trying to make me go homeless, or the other alternative would be go back to my ex-husband who was still running around with this girl or whatever. This is crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit about my concerns about women's issues, and I'm not one of those women's lib type people. I remember my dad said, you're kind of like a feminist, okay? I was only like 6 when he was telling me this, and I'm like, okay, I really didn't know what a feminist was. I just thought, in my back of my mind, I kept thinking it was a woman who wanted to play sports like men played, or kind of wanted to do boy things, like was a tomboy or something. I cannot say that I'm an active feminist. Like, I think that women are better than men and all this other stuff. Personally, if reincarnation is true, I want to come back a woman every single goddamn time. Okay, that's just how it is, because I love being a woman. I love it. Okay, and being a woman is different for everybody. Okay, but one of the things I love about being a woman is I can be a child, I can be playful, I can be what do you call it? And I can accessorize, and I enjoy those things. You know what I mean? That's the best, one of the best things about being a woman. Also, no, I'll tell you what the best thing about being a woman is our sharp intuition. Okay, I love being a woman. I do, and that's and when you deal with people who try to force you into, or trying to force you into what they want you to be, that's not the kind of relationship I want to be. But I personally don't think it was just that. I think that this girl was with my ex-husband, and she felt like I was threatening their little relationship. I never once, after I left my husband the last time, I never put up a fight. Never tried to call him, never tried to do any of that stuff. I did try to call him one time because I was going to try to ask him something, because I was getting ready to serve his ass with some papers. What do you call those things? What, not a warrant, what do you call those things? Can't think of it. Restraining orders. A restraining order, okay? But I wanted to get some clarification. I contacted him via text. He responded, and then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And that was the end of it. Okay, but my issue was, it was not about me trying to get back with him. I was trying to run from this motherfucker. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why I was pissed off that, I think people were trying to force me back into this relationship with him, because I don't see him the same way that I did before, and I never will again. It's that simple. Okay? What these people did to me was criminal. Okay? Severely criminal. And it shocked me, and it disturbs me. And there's times where, and it's not, it disturbs me mainly because it's like, that you knew. How could you not know that my goal was important to me? And what made you think you had the right to touch it? And when and he knew that whatever. I'm not going to go into all of it. That's a video for another day. Let's talk about what I was thinking about the women's issues. The women's issues, to me, are important to focus on, because when I think about issues of human trafficking, when I think about some women who are getting beaten to death or bloodied up every day, their children are being abused and everything. Some of these women are terrified, and they're scared, just like I was scared. Okay, But there's some people who don't have the strength that I do. And there's some people who don't have the understanding of how human trafficking works. And they certainly are not going to get the resources or have the resources to help them, because there's not enough people who are qualified to identify the signs, and this is my biggest issue. They think, oh, well, it's just her husband, he wants to get back with her, or whatever, or her mom thinks it would be better for her career if she, wore three-piece suits or whatever, these sort of things, okay? But it's an accumulation of all this person's idea, and this person's idea is being imposed on this person, and then we're going to put her house under surveillance, and then we're going to have all these people involved, and then everybody knows this person. We're going to meet up with these people. She's going to meet up with the her bank teller, and this bank teller knows her because of this group chain and all this other stuff. This is exactly what and how people traffic other people. So when you see these sort of things going on, this is not something to be taken, lightly. This is human trafficking. This is what it's about. Okay? So when you hear about somebody's, being forced into a position, like a work position, or, they're being forced into a job. Okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with getting a job, okay? We all need them, but you find out that they're not working under the same work conditions that you're working under. Okay? Everybody else can do this, but she can't. You know what I mean? And it's got to be based on who she's married to, and all these other little guidelines and tidbits that basically say that this is not supposed to be done on the federal and state posters that are on your wall. Okay? This is a red flag. Okay? And I don't know if everyone in the community knew that my ex-husband was with this girl at the time. But at the time, it seems like, from what I'm inferring, that people were allowing me to be the scapegoat for this bullshit. Like, they literally blamed me. They thought that it was my fault. Now, maybe, I don't know why they thought this, because I was married for whatever. I'm getting off the subject because I still have a lot to say about this issue, because I'm still pissed off. Please forgive me. Anyway, about the women's issues, it needs to be looked at. It needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be understood, and these people who claim to offer resources to abused women, I think they fail when it comes to identifying them. I don't know what people who claim to help people who are victims of human trafficking do. I don't know what they do. Do they just give them a few vouchers for some food and some milk or some bullshit, and that's it? Or do they get involved and get in touch with these people's employers? And they should, because they need to make sure that this person is not becoming stalked in the workplace. What are they doing to improve the lives of people who are suffering through this? And what are employers doing? And I have seen things that have been written in some written material about domestic stalking, which I was delighted to see. I was delighted to see it. But just like the issue I brought up about people don't understand the guidelines of sexual harassment, and they ignore it all the time, because look at all the employers that got involved with this. Okay, and yes, it is sexual harassment. Okay, now I know a woman can look nice all she wants to. She has a right to. Now, I would say if I was wearing something sexy or whatever, I don't know why somebody needs to wear low-cut clothes to work. I don't know why they would. I don't know why somebody would need to wear, a form-fitting mini dress to work, okay? Now, I understand some of them are pretty goddamn cute, okay? But you know what I'm talking about. When you have the short skirt and the boobs showing and everything else, there's something there, okay? And I understand that. But I think that I'm a nicely decorated person. I like to color coordinate. I try not to go over the top too much, okay? Because I do like a lot of flair. But I think I dress appropriately for whatever office, whatever setting I'm in, okay? And of course, people do have their preferences. Some people like straight skirts. Some people like them flared or whatever. But when you get somebody who is telling somebody doing these sort of things, that is a form of human trafficking. Be open to that. You don't have to make it obvious that this person might be a victim of human trafficking, but you need to understand that you got to keep your eye on that. Be careful about that. And I know that people get, they intermingle. You know, family businesses intermingle, and they hire people, and they don't tell, you know, the person that they hired that they know this other person. This is what happened in my last jobs, okay? And I know they do this, but they do it for their own entertainment. And the person who's there, because they're not there because they're really meant to be working, they're there for their own entertainment. They're there so that you can go back to your ex-husband or whatever. That's a lot of pressure on a person. A lot of pressure. And then you get people who take a personal interest in this whole situation, and they start to bully. Just like they did all the other places that I worked at, and it took me a long time to understand what's going on, right? So long the story that went on with my life. But anyway, so I just wanted to come on here and make a video and talk about, you know, what's been going on through my mind. I've been thinking about, you know, what's going on in the workplace. How can people help this issue? You know, will people be able to get better resources? Will people be able to identify this? You know, it's not a funny thing. I can trust me when I tell you that when a person is a victim of this, their lives will never be the same again. You will not think the same again. You will not feel the same way again. It changes your life. You know, it does. Because you can't deal with knowing that people betrayed you. You can't deal with the fact that somebody didn't care about anything that you wanted in your life. They hated you so much that they would threaten your life, that they would throw you out of your own job, that they want to invade your privacy, throw you out of a job, then laugh about it and do all kinds of harassing type things and ready to kill you. Oh, and so I don't really care if they are sorry. They're probably sorry that they got caught. And after somebody doing something like that to you, do you honestly really think that I'd believe anything you'd say? You see what I'm saying? Ooh, I've got so much venom inside me. I'm just like, I cannot tell you how much I deal with it every day. So my anger comes from, and my sadness comes from the fact that I can't beat the shit out of myself. Because I would go to jail. So I'm doing everything I possibly can. Seriously, it's that bad. You know what I mean? It is. I'm very angry inside about what happened to me. So anyway, moving on. I am working. I'm going to hopefully finish up my video, my first video. And I hope that the other videos that I plan on making, I've been writing them down. And I'm going to go by each and every single last one video that I'm going to be making. Isn't going to take this long, you know, but I have been going through depression. So there's times where I just kind of sit around and I'm like, my gosh. And then I'll start thinking about this happened and this person got involved. And believe me, I don't mean to. I just don't have anything else to think about except for the course of the video and stuff like that. But I think there's a lot of brain regurgitation that comes up, you know. I'm trying not to make it happen. Doing what I can. I mean, not a lot of outside stimuli, you know, going on around me, so I can get distracted. But yeah, I do think about things like that. But so I'm working on my video, and I'm hoping to wrap it up this weekend, tomorrow. And so I will be doing this on another channel, and I will announce when my first video will be posted on my new channel. I hate to call it new, but it is kind of, because it's under my old name, my old YouTube name, but it's new now because it's a whole different account, you know. So anyway, so I'm, you know, the first video I'm talking about is the different forms of the gifts of clairvoyance and ESP that I have, okay? And I will go into them in the video, and I want to make sure that these two channels are completely separate. Like, this one now is me just airing out my emotional bullshit, right, at this point, because I'm not really talking about the pranks that they've been pulling, that they used to pull, and the bullshit that they would do to me. I'm not really talking about that too much, okay, like I just did this whole entire video, right? I was really pissed off a few minutes ago, but I'm not going to talk about that too much. Really, I'm just basically going to be following up with maybe some more informative videos every once in a while about human trafficking, maybe, those sort of things. But I really want to kind of change the direction of my channel. I do want to also on this particular channel talk about, I don't know, like positive affirmations or whatever. My other channel is talking about the paranormal, and it's a big part of my life. It is. The paranormal is huge in my life. And I know that that was something that they highly resented. And I do want to say in this video right here is that, I know people think that you can separate yourself from a spiritual gift, and you really can't. It's going to be a part of you. And there's a lot of ignorance when it comes to ESP and a lot of those other mystical gifts that people are born with. And I think this video is it's going to kind of explain a little bit about that. But this is who I am. You know what I mean? And don't think that, I would like to also say that in this video, that I don't want people to be afraid of me because they think I'm reading their mind. I can't read your mind about stupid stuff. I have no idea what you had for breakfast. I don't know, if you're walking around your house with your underwear on. I don't know that. You know what I mean? What I do, what I'm able to do with my gift is I'm able to sense certain things, but if anger or something that's going to harm me is directed towards me, I feel it. I feel it, especially like in the lower part of my stomach. And then there's a silence that kind of comes over me, and I'm like, I hone in on it, and this is what it is. Then there's also some kinds of intuitive moments that I've had in the past that didn't necessarily relate to danger of any kind. But for the most part, I don't walk around like wondering what people think of me. As I said before, if I was to do that, I would probably go crazy. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that don't like anybody. I mean, people don't like each other. Hang on a second. Hang on. Okay, so I am back. Sorry, my son came home and he got me some. I love dark cups. I'm a big dark cup fan. Anyway, so where was I? Shoot. About my separation, my videos and psychic gifts and everything. And I know that there's a lot of people who are uncomfortable with it, and I think my ex-family was uncomfortable with it. But it is who I am. I think when I first developed my gift or became aware of it, I was really young at the time, and it was kind of like, it kind of freaked me out, and of course I studied religion and everything else, but now that I'm an adult, I fully understand what it is. And so, and in my new video that I'm making, I am kind of bringing up the point that, I feel as though if people are really devout in their religion, they would understand what these gifts are, because they talk about them in all the holy books, right? But, I'm not a dark person. I think everybody has an interest in the occult to a certain degree. I've never got into anything too extreme, but I did study some different things that at this point in my life, I see no need to delve deeper into them, but they were interesting. I mean, of course, I'm going to read, everything I can get my hands on, whether it was good or bad, you know what I mean? And of course, I've tried that all because you want to see exactly how far that can go. But as far as who I am now at this point, I understand that those things happen. That certain things that can actually happen. But I think what I'm trying to do is I want to separate the fact from the fiction as to what ESP is, because some people have this unrealistic idea of what it is, and that's what creates a lot of social complications for people. Like when I was younger, I didn't realize that not everybody either cared or even had. I thought maybe some people had some psychic abilities to some degree, right? And I realized that people didn't feel comfortable with it. And I think the reason why a lot of people don't feel comfortable with it is like when you're describing this, they think that you're talking about something that they saw on a movie, because I know they use a lot of props in movies. They do a lot of visual and audio effects, and it makes it seem like, good and well, something like that could never really happen in real life. You know what I mean? Or people levitating and doing all kinds of weird stuff, people's eyeballs turning white and stuff like that. That stuff doesn't happen in real life. And so when you talk about this sort of stuff, people look at you like, is she crazy? Is she crazy? No, you're not crazy. Um, it's something that is very real. But anyway, if you will see my first video, and I will definitely let you know when my first video is coming out. Hopefully, it will be introduced. I'll hopefully finish tomorrow, and then post it on Sunday, and I will make that announcement at that time. So anyway, I'm just kind of rambling right now because I've got a lot on my mind, and I do. I have a lot on my mind, and I get kind of rushed in my mind because when I get on the computer, there's so many things that I just want to air out. Like I wanted to talk about my anger over my ex family and the abuse that I dealt with, and then this whole thing about people creating rumors that I wanted to go back to my ex husband, or even thinking that I'd want to. After that, I will tell you, when I was with my ex husband, I thought that we got along well. You know what I mean? Like, I thought we got along well. I knew that it wasn't like, I don't know, like storybook bullshit, whatever. I knew it wasn't like that. But I liked my distance, basically. So I'd spend a lot of time by myself and do things by myself. And basically come home. It was kind of like a roommate type situation, really. And I was fine with that. Maybe he wanted to get married and really want a wifey. But whatever the case is, you don't divorce somebody and then continue living with him, is what I think he did. And then whatever, I don't know what he did really. I just know that something wasn't quite right with it. I have my suspicions that he was married to her and then still living with me, or something like that. Because I was married to my husband from like 2003 to 2018, legally married. We were legally married from that time period. Okay, so I know I left for a while. We were separated, but we weren't legally divorced. So when all that happened, I don't know. But I think that people thought that that she was his wife, which I think anybody should have known better than that. So I think people who got involved in this, they did it because it was a hate crime. Because there's no way in the world you can honestly blame me for anything. You know what I mean? So it's that anger that I'm like dealing with. Like I just took on bullshit that there was no reason to drag me into this bullshit, and that's where it comes from. A lot of it does. And then the fact that my ex family was like chumming up with this bitch, and I'm just like, it's like, whoa, like how could somebody be so evil? It makes you think. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm going to spend the rest of the weekend just kind of working on my video. And I also would like to do a little bit more detailing on my new channel. Like, I know that you can have banners and stuff like that. I never really went that far with YouTube, trying to make it look better. You know what I mean? So I'll see what I can do with that. I'm not as savvy as a lot of young kids are. But when I do learn something, I try to do it as much as I possibly can so I can retain the information, and then I grasp it. If something I was doing every day, like if I was doing PowerPoint every single day, I would be comfortable with it. It would be like, because it's a part of my day. But it's only like a weekend thing and every once in a while thing, so I don't really put into practice that much, but I'm trying. So anyway, I will be back with another video sometime later. I all hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.